to Lesson 11. In this lesson, we're going to look at nouns of the third declension. Our phrase for this lesson contains a familiar noun of the third declension, pater. Pater noster, meaning our Father. Third declension nouns are usually masculine or neuter, although there are also some feminine nouns in this declension. The group has a huge range of nominative singular endings, but as with all nouns, the key to identifying the declension is to look at the genitive singular ending, in this case, is. You'll also need to watch out for the genitive plurals. Some of them end in others end in ium. Here's a table showing how the third declension nouns are declined. And you'll see some alternatives there. That's because I've put masculine and neuter into the same table. Remember that the nominative singular form might be different from either of the two versions shown here. So how does the paradigm go? Masculine first. Is ema, eis ibus eis ibus. And neuter, en is ena, a ibus a ibus. Now here's how pater is declined, and pater is a masculine third declension noun. Pater, patris, patri, patrem, patre, patres, patrum, patribus, patres, patribus. You'll notice that in the nominative singular we have the ending or the stem as pat. For the rest of the forms, our stem becomes patr. Okay, so that's something to remember, that little r in there. And you may also have noticed that the emphasis when pronouncing a three-syllable word changes. So patribus needs to have the first syllable emphasized. Here's a neuter noun of the third declension. Nomen, nominis, meaning name. Nomen, nominis, nomini, nomen, nomine. Nomina, nominum, nominibus, nomina, nominibus. Nominibus has four syllables, so we change the pronunciation again to emphasize the second syllable, nominibus. A little tip about neuter nouns in general. No matter which declension a neuter noun belongs to, it will have the same nominative and accusative form in both singular and plural. And the nominative and accusative plurals always end in "a". So looking at nomen, you'll see that nominative singular and accusative singular both end in "n", and nominative plural and accusative plural both end in "a". Okay, so adjectives now. Third declension adjectives. So these are different from the adjectives that we've looked at so far. Those are known as adjectives of the first and second declensions, and they follow the us, a, pattern. So hopefully you're fairly familiar with that by now. And an example is dolorosus, dolorosus, dolorosa, dolorosum. Any adjective that doesn't follow that pattern is known as an adjective of the third declension. And as with third declension nouns, third declension adjectives all have is for the genitive singular ending. Within this group, there are three different types or three different patterns, and they're characterized according to whether there are separate forms for each gender, or one form for all three genders, or two different forms. The dictionary listing will indicate to you which type that adjective is. Let's take a closer look at the first type of third declension adjective. This is the kind that has different forms for each gender. For example, ace, acris, acre, meaning sharp or bitter. This isn't part of your vocabulary, but I've used it here as an example since none of these adjectives are found in our prayers. Even though this type of third declension adjective resembles a first and second declension adjective, it can't be confused with those because it doesn't have the us, a, endings. The second type of third declension adjective has one form for all three genders. An example of this second type is clemens clementis, meaning merciful. This comes from a future lessons vocabulary list. The vocabulary listing for this type of adjective is a bit tricky to understand at first. Although clemens is used to qualify masculine and feminine and neuter nouns, you'll see two forms given in the listing. Clemens and clementis are the nominative and genitive singular forms of this adjective. So you can see this is different from the other adjectives, since genitive forms aren't usually given in the dictionary listing. For this type of adjective, the genitive is included to indicate the adjective's stem. As you know, the stem doesn't always show up in the nominative singular form, and we saw that earlier with pater patris, father. The stem wasn't clear in the nominative singular form. You'll find that the second word in this type of vocabulary listing always ends in is, and that's because these adjectives are in the pattern of third declension nouns. Now, you need to be clear that this second word is not an alternative nominative case ending to indicate a different gender. It's the genitive singular form. Some examples from our vocabulary are misericors, misericordis, meaning merciful, and omnipotens, omnipotentis, meaning omnipotent or almighty. The third type of third declension adjective has two forms for the three genders. You'll find one used for masculine and feminine adjectives and another for neuter. And an example comes from this lesson's vocabulary, omnis, omnis, omne, meaning all or every. Omnis is the form for both the masculine and feminine adjectives. Omne is the form for the neuter ones. The vocabulary listing for this type of adjective is an abbreviated version. So you'll find omnis, then a, and the English all. To keep things simple, you'll only be required to translate the first kind of adjectives in this course, and that is the adjectives of the first and second declensions using the us, a, form. Your vocabulary listings will include third declension adjectives though, since some of these are found in our prayers. Vocabulary now. Mater, matris, feminine, mother. Mors, mortis, masculine, death. Nomen, nominis, neuter, name. Pater, patris, masculine, father. Crux, crucis, feminine, cross. Omnis, omne, all or every. Now, homework. You'll find lessons at the end. You'll find exercises at the end of the lesson in your text, supplementary exercises to download, and your drill table showing some suggestions for daily drill. And remember to try and both write and recite your drill. That's it from me. Until next time, goodbye, God bless.